Don't forget to mute your YouTube when it comes up, or pause the video. All right, so looks like we're live. And there's some
Good evening,
delay.
Brett.
Hello, Sean. If you would, why don't you, because we're on my channel, I think everybody knows who I am. Why don't you introduce yourself, please, sir?
Absolutely. Thank you, Brett. And thank you for the invitation to join you here this evening. For anyone who doesn't know me, I am Sean over at North Shore Preparedness. Brett and I have been buddies for a good long while here. I'm up in Canada on the North Shore of Lake Ontario in the province of Ontario. I'm about an hour east of Toronto. And yeah, I also have a small YouTube channel, just trying to put stuff out there, help people out, give people ideas, and learn myself as well as, as everyone else, as my sort of preparedness journey takes place. Good evening, everyone in the chat as well. It's good to see all of you here. I saw Jefferson Martial Arts, Metal for Breakfast. Hello, brother. How to Garden, Sean in Alaska. Welcome. Michigan Mom. Hello. The Prepared Christian even. Hello. Good evening, all. And welcome. And thank you, Brett.
It looks like the majority of the people here, if not all of them, are subscribers to both of us already. Hello, Mary Beth.
Oh, that's very possible.
Yeah, so using StreamYard like this, Sean, in case you don't know, and folks in the chat, in case you don't know, there is a bit of a delay of a few seconds. So if you ask us a question, please be patient, and we will be answering your question. And if you could, remember to put your questions in all caps. And I think you know my better half, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
There's Lori. Hey, Lori.
Oh, I gotta get out of here.
Evening, Lori. Built on the Rock Homestead. Hello. Welcome.
We're streaming on that one, so don't overload it.
Mary Beth. Welcome.
You don't want me to open the chat here?
No, I got it here. That's good.
How to Garden. Hello.
All right, so lots and lots of hellos in the chat. Lots of good friends here. I was a little concerned that we wouldn't get a full chat because we're streaming on a different night here. Normally we go on Thursday nights at 8 Central, and looks like we've got a good crowd. So, thank you for that, Amy. Amy
That
just
is
put
awesome.
Sean's channel here in the chat. Her is link.
Thank you, Amy, and it's great we have a nice crowd here tonight.
So,
How many people are in here? I can't see.
I think it looks like 10, 12 right now. So
Awesome.
that's good. We're getting a good
Sweet Pea Farm in New York. Hello. Welcome.
So Sean and I, we've been using StreamYard actually to video chat without streaming it. And last night when we were doing so, we had the idea to go ahead and stream our conversation. So because we talk about a lot of very interesting things together when it comes to prepping, homesteading, just being prepared for who knows what in general. Right, Sean?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure, Brett. Like last night we had an amazing chat about your cast iron.
Yeah.
And like between homesteaders and preppers, there's plenty of crossover, right? Because they both involve food. Everybody eats at the end of the day. Everyone wants to stay safe and, be well. So there's plenty of crossover there.
Right. And I often say that homesteading is really just sustainable prepping.
As far as it goes for me, I see homesteaders as like the ultimate preppers. They've already bugged way out permanently. You know what I mean?
Well, to be honest with you, where we live now was our bug out location before we moved.
See, that's just awesome. Yeah, and you guys are already, you're not putting food back. You're growing your own food and putting it back. You know what I mean? Where the difference between homesteaders and preppers is preppers may, especially if they're in the city, they may buy their foods and then put it back in whichever way that they choose, right? Whether it's long-term, mid-term, or, you know, like user pantry, short-term stuff.
Right. I watched one of your videos recently where you had a cupboard full of sugar, but it wasn't in your kitchen, right?
That's right. It was in my bedroom.
Yeah. So, I mean, you get creative when you're low on space, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of prepping channels out there that are saying stack it to the rafters, and people are talking about being creative, about finding places to store stuff. I know lots of people that got stuff placed under their couch if it sits up high enough off the thing, or even under their beds. Like they'll even keep butter under there.
I don't know where you could hear something like that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, we talked about that last night. We've canned butter recently, and we had some stored under the bed because under our bed was just an empty space, and why not fill it with PREPS, right?
Yeah, utilize the space that you have. If you got a top shelf in your closet that's got a bunch of hats and mitts in there that you haven't used for 10 years, throw them hats and mitts away, or donate them to Goodwill or the local church for the boot sale, and store your canned goods up there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, I kind of showed you around our house last night, and you know, we have the walk-in pantry, and then we have another space and another space and another space that we've got food and other prep items that we store wherever we can.
That's exactly what we have to do. You got to be creative about it. And now I have a nice antique radio on top of my my refrigerator, and I bought it at a yard sale, and it works. And the reason that I bought it is because it has short wave on it. But because that's there, those cupboards are blocked, and I hardly ever use those cupboards. So I was looking at it yesterday thinking, oh, there's a couple more cupboards up there I can store some food in, or other supplies, whatever it is.
I'm sorry, Sean, I'm a bit distracted.
It's quite all right. Good evening to everyone in the chat I haven't said hello to. Welcome all. It's good to see every one of you here. I'm more concentrating on the interaction with Brett here than looking at the chat. Ken, Marybeth, Crazy Cajun, hello.
Chat, let us know. Is my voice louder? Does that sound better? Someone said my voice was low, so I adjusted the mic. Sorry to interrupt you there, Sean.
Can Sean see the chat? Yes, he can see the chat.
Yes, I can see it, but the chat is over here, and when Brett's talking to me, I'm looking over there. So
Okay, it's available to him. He can't multitask very well.
It is,
Crazy
yeah.
Cajun is our daughter Katie, and she asked if we're back home. Katie, we did not go on the trip. Only Abby did. Abby went on a vacation, and she's enjoying some time in Arkansas with extended family.
Okay, it's a little louder.
It was Abby's birthday yesterday. So for sure, happy birthday.
Yeah, yesterday was Abby's birthday, and so many people wished her a happy birthday, and she's having a great time.
It's actually snowing up where she's at right now, so she's getting to play in the snow.
Abby shares a birthday with Lori Austin, who's here in the chat.
I
hope you're
knew
feeling
that.
better today, huh?
Happy birthday, Lori. I know it's a day late, but happy birthday.
Just
Sounds
for
good.
you, prepared Christian, I'll have two, just in case I need to read something from a book.
The other glasses.
Those are my other glasses. Yeah.
So, can't quite see it in the video tonight, but your 1 minute short of midnight clock is there that I always mess with you about in your live streams.
I knew he was going to move it.
There it is. Sean has his own doomsday clock in his living room.
We are deep into the 11th hour, everyone. Josh Connor, welcome. It's good to see you here. And welcome, everyone. If I didn't happen to see you and say hello, it's good to see you all.
Yeah, I've done very little interaction with the chat here tonight, and I apologize for that. But I do see you all, and I appreciate you being here. So Sean and I had a few topics to talk about. And JW, welcome. Oh, well, I've got to get to it. I had it hidden behind something else, so be patient with me, please. The first topic that we had discussed was how climate affects our PREPS, because Sean and I are in very different climates. Sean is, again, on the north shore of Lake Ontario, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I am on the north shore of the Gulf of Mexico. So very, very different climates. So, Sean, why don't you let us know what your weather is like right now and how you've prepared for that?
Well, here where I am, I'm about a mile and a half off the north shore of Lake Ontario, which is, again, a huge body of water, just like the one south of you, right? It's not quite as big, but I mean, it'll give us lake effect stuff. So being that close to a body of water during the winter time will actually make our winters a little bit more mild. However, like today we had a temperature of 24 degrees. I'm not sure how that translates into metric. I think it was maybe -6 or -4, somewhere in and around there. A touch of light snow, and it didn't stay though. We've had some mild days over the past week. We're supposed to get some snow in the next couple of days, and then rain on the weekend with a little bit warmer temperatures, a little over the freezing mark, to clear that up again. But again, being close to the lake, it helps our springs come in earlier too, right? Like it keeps our summers a little bit cooler, and it warms up our winters just a little bit. However, our ground freeze is solid, usually by, well, we're mid-December here, right here today, right? So usually by this time it's frozen solid. So we end up experiencing a growing season of, you can put stuff underground, but if you've got any plants that you like, if you've got a tomato plant or whatever that you've raised inside, the sort of rule of thumb here is you don't put it out outdoors permanently until the first weekend of June.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
See,
and then our growing. I'm sorry, I missed that, Brett.
I said we are very, very different in that case.
Our ground never freezes.
Our ground never freezes.
Wow.
We get frost on the ground. We may every few years maybe get like one snow.
Or like even still, we might get like, I don't know what, a week total throughout the winter that we're actually under freezing. And that's usually only a couple hours.
Rarely does it even stay below freezing for an entire day.
Wow. Okay,
like we'll dip below freezing at night,
Okay. Well, Brett and some of you guys in the chat here know that I'm in the construction industry. Now, the Broussards and myself being in such different, I guess, growing zones or gardening zones or climatary areas, our building code up here requires us to have the footings of our foundation down below the frost line. Now, Sean in Alaska, he'll understand this, or anyone from one of my Canadian brothers and sisters that's in the chat here, they'll understand that as well. That building codes will tell you have to put the footings of your foundations below the frost line, which is 4 to 6 feet below the surface of the dirt.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Yeah, and Steve, we're very much opposite, because our growing season is, well, depending on what we put in the ground, we can grow something year round.
Can you guys do things like the winter things, like kale and cabbage and such over winter?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What about your things like your berry trees and such?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do fine.
In fact, we're so far south, we have citrus and bananas too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not tender greens though. We struggle with tender greens because it stays so warm in the winter. They want to bolt and they get bitter and they're no good to eat.
Can you explain to me what kind of greens those are?
Like lettuce and arugula, things of that
even
sort.
kale, spinach, things like that. They tend to flower pretty often. Broccoli is the same way.
Sorry, your southern accent threw me off there a little bit. I didn't catch the word you said before. Greens, and it was tender greens, not tinder. I thought I heard tinder. I don't know why, and I'm like, what is a tinder green? I'm sorry, man. I know it's not you guys that have the accent I do.
That's right, guys. In the chat, if you don't know Sean, he's Canadian, but we don't hold that against him.
And I love my American brothers and sisters here.
We have a good time. We poke fun and we have fun. So
we get along just fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a blast. The next thing that we talked about, things that we are very different on, was Sean lives in an apartment, and we have an acre, a little over an acre. So that's different, right? So Sean, you don't even have a yard that you could plant, right?
I do have a tiny backyard, Brett.
Okay.
If you guys go back into my videos from this summer, you know, all this bug business, when I saw it coming, I watch alternative news and I watch it very, very closely. So I've been watching it since last November, right? And I could see it move around the globe. And when it started, I could tell roughly when it was going to land here, and all the craziness you saw with people buying it, the grocery stores and this and that. It's like, and then 2 years of crop failures in the States. If the writing on the wall isn't there to say, hey man, you best get some food going.
Right.
Okay, so this from the spring, you'll see my videos that I ripped out. I had a pleasure garden back there with a nice big patio and a fire pit. I ripped all that out and I put it all in as vegetables. I had, I had carrots in flower pots. I had different types of lettuce in hanging baskets. I had potatoes in buckets. I just planted everything where I could. So I am fortunate. I do have a little area in my in the back of this century home I live in that I am able to utilize. That's great.
That's great. I didn't realize that. I haven't known you for very long, and I haven't gone back and watched those particular videos. But you don't have space for animals at all, right?
No, I'm 2 streets off of the sort of main thoroughfare that runs through the old downtown here, and it's polluted with houses. There's a house 30 feet that way. There's a house less than 30 feet that way. Across the street that way, sort of 60 feet or 100 feet away, it's all houses. And across the street that way, there's I've got neighbors as well. So yeah, we're right in town. So I mean, that's another difference between your property and the one that I'm on, is that your acreage is out in the country, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if I had an acre in town here, there's still no way I'd be able to have. I might be able to have chickens, but I don't think I'd be able to have a rooster or anything that makes any noise.
Right.
Right. Right. See, we have a water source right in the backyard. We have a pond, and we do have space for animals. But if I was in your situation, I would say that it's pretty important for you to stockpile protein, right?
Yes, sir.
Because you can't provide that from the land.
No, that's very, very true. So I mean, like when I saw this madness happening, when it started there slightly before this time last year, it lit a fire under my butt. Like I learned this year how to can a water bath can, pressure can, and pickle, and garden again, like all. this year.
Oh.
So I have been pressure canning proteins like turkey breast, chicken thighs, chicken breast, breakfast sausages,
nice.
ground meat, pasta sauces. Like those aren't the pasta sauce won't be a protein, but yeah. She's laughing at the way I say pasta.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I love it.
It's a little ongoing thing between us. That's okay. I think it's cute.
You know how to get it back.
Shut up.
Yeah, what's the name of the sandwich made of fish that McDonald's serves?
The fish fillet. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, we have a little bit of fun together, guys.
So,
always said it.
one thing I just thought of, Sean, that I didn't put on our list. I hope you're okay with talking about that. And it goes right along with the weather. You know, people, I'm sure some people are probably just sick and tired of hearing me talk about hurricanes, but we are still dealing with the aftermath. So we've had 2 very strong hurricanes in our area this past hurricane season. They were in late August and early October. And it caused damage to things. And, it could have been so much worse. And it was for some people, and I don't mean to take away from them. But,
well, I was sending prayers for y'all.
Well, we appreciate that. My question to you is how, do you prep for natural disasters, and which ones?
Okay, there's just a question I want to answer in the chat.
Okay.
Just quickly, it's from Gary B. Now, anyone else, if you have questions in the chat for either Brett or Amy or myself, can you please put them in capital letters so that it's easier for us to see? It would be very much appreciated. But Gary B is asking, have I looked at raising quail, very cold hardy, takes very? I'm not sure what the last part of that is, but no, I'm not allowed to have to raise any wildlife meat animals here. So
no rabbits, no chickens, no nothing where you're at.
No, no, just my garden and the grocery stores, or I can barter or trade with friends that do have country properties for the things that they produce, and we do a bunch of that. But as far as your question goes, Brett, how do I prepare? What sort of natural disasters do I prepare for?
Do you prepare for any? And if so, what are they, and how do you prepare?
Well, I guess just general preparedness. Like, we do get the odd tornado up here, but it's maybe once every 20 years or whatever, and it's not very likely to hit anywhere near where I am. But it is a thing up here, and for that, I'm just sort of general preparedness. Like, I do have a basement in my building I can get into if there's some terrible weather with high winds coming through. The building I'm in has been here for 120 years, so I don't think anything's going to knock it over. But now, just up the road from me, like I said, I'm about 1.5 miles north of the North Shore of Lake Ontario, and about 20 minutes to the west of me, right on the shore of Lake Ontario, is a Nuke Plant. So every year they send us around a package of what is it, iodine pills you take for nuclear radiation?
I'm not sure.
Well, they send around packs of that, so I stockpile those, and I mean, we've got a warning system up here. I think it's government run, where it shows like amber alerts if there's an abducted child, or one popped up once, and it was saying that there was a problem at the Nuke Plant, and it came across at like 7 a.m. And I'm like, what the heck? And then at 10, they issued a like, oh, sorry about that. That was a missed thing. But I mean, I could have been 3 hours away by that time. So nuclear disaster is one thing I do sort of prepare for, and that's basically get the heck out.
Yeah, right.
And as far away as you can. But as far as those types of things, myself, I'm more preparing for food shortages. I'm not preparing for the space aliens to come down or
the zombies.
Or the zombies. I'm not preparing for the zombies. Solar flares or EMPs, magnetic pulses.
Yeah.
A little less so, but I've added some communications to my PREPS through a ham radio, which is one of my projects this winter, just to bolster my preparedness a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of what I'm doing, and the reasons why I behind my prepping.
There was a question here in the chat, Sean. I lost it. Hang on. Patriot Preacher 43 asked, North Shore, do you fish?
Do I fish?
Right.
Oh, not that one. I was going to highlight it and I got the wrong one.
Yep.
Was the question, do
you fish? There it is.
Patriot Preacher. Presently, I do not fish. I don't happen to own a boat. And your best fishing is had from a boat. Now, there are some rivers and streams around here that I could exploit. However, the fish that come up in those rivers, they come out of the Great Lakes, and there's lots of mercury and such in the fats of those fish. I did used to sport fish years and years ago. We have a great, we have a world-class sport fishing industry up here with muskellunge and pike, and we have phenomenal bass and walleye fishing or pickerel. Also, the bluegills are amazing up here. But for me, I'll fish if I need to feed myself, and I know how to do it, and I'm equipped to do it. But more so in the past couple of years, I've become more of a humanitarian than that. Like, for me to go out sport fishing, to me, that would be similar to harassing the wildlife, or just go tapping a cow on the head with a hammer for giggles. You know what I mean? Not to kill it, but just, talk. But that's like bugging the wildlife,
There's another question for you from the chat.
Built on the Rock Homestead. Buffalo got buried for 3 weeks under snow. There are a number of areas up here that do get a significant amount of lake effect snow. Now, one of those areas is 2 hours north of here where my folks live, and they're just east of a body of water called Georgian Bay. And the wind comes from the west on Georgian Bay and heads over to my folks' place, and they get a significant amount of snow, lake effect, same as Barrie, which is south of there and kind of halfway between where they are and where I am. Now, I do get some lake effect snow if the prevailing winds are coming out of the south, because the lake is directly south of me. So, but I would say areas a little bit more east of me would get a little bit more lake effect snow off of Lake Ontario, simply because the prevailing winds are typically west-northwest, coming from the west-northwest. No, Patriot Preacher. Not yet. I haven't even got my radio fired up yet. That's a winter project, and I kind of jumped the gun on getting it. I just, something lit a fire under my butt, and I started shopping for one. I was like, bang, yeah, I got it. And it's like, dang, I got the wrong one. Now I got to figure out how to power it up. But all that is a part of my prepping process for the winter. My prepping process for the winter Ham radio is definitely included in that, including the license. And my other prep will for the winter is filling in the holes in my preps. And then, of course, you know, let's face it, we're in the middle of December here. March isn't that far away, so you know, we'll be thinking about gardening here soon too, right?
Yeah. I know we're already starting to plant our spring garden.
Exactly.
In fact,
Yeah.
today, we received a gift in the mail from Dawn Goff. I don't see her here in the chat, but she may be. She sent us
A bundle
a
of
bunch
seeds.
of seeds.
Oh, it's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them I didn't have. So I'm trying to figure out now what seedlings I can put where and how many I can fit.
What's up, Mallory in the house? How you doing? Hey, Cherry. I got a nice gift in the mail yesterday too. I got a nice card, Christmas card from the Broussard Homestead, and they sent me a nice sticker. I'm not sure if you guys can see that with their logo on it.
Oh, you got it. Hang on. Let me make you big.
He told you that last night.
Well, all these good folks don't know it. Yeah, nice Christmas card and a Broussard Homestead sticker.
Glad you're enjoying that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Is that for my car window?
It
Yeah.
can be wherever you want to put it.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, Cherry McKinstry had a question, something about fishing, about
Yeah, I'm going to find it.
what about it was something about ocean salmon. I'm nowhere near the ocean here, Cherry.
Okay. You've got another question here too.
Homestead Paradise asked a question too. Oh, so many questions.
So Boots and Bounty, yeah, I try and get my tomatoes to go straight up because, well, I attempted this year, and some of them cooperated, but then other parts of the plant, like it was like 8 feet over that way. My tomatoes went nuts.
That's awesome.
I tried to do some more vertical gardening with my yellow beans, but I bought the wrong variety. I bought bush beans instead of pole beans, and my as many of you my subscribers will know, that young Pilfer, who's a little baby bunny rabbit, or was, in the springtime, came and he enjoyed all of those beans, almost every single one.
There was another question.
Right here.
You got it? There you go. I'm not sure if that question is for you or us, Sean. I'll give you the chance to answer it first if you like.
This year in my tiny urban garden, converted pleasure garden, I grew 3 different varieties of tomatoes. I grew Romas. I grew it was kind of like a beefsteak, and there was another one that was similar to a Roma, but a little bit more plump. So I grew 3 varieties of tomatoes. I grew peppers, green peppers. I grew Swiss chard. I grew romaine lettuce and iceberg lettuce in hanging baskets. I grew carrots in flower pots. I grew yellow-fleshed Yukon Gold potatoes and red-skinned, white-fleshed potatoes in buckets. I had a number of herbs also in pots, and I think that's about what I did. Now, what I won't do again next year is I'm not going to put my as much lettuce in. I'll do a couple of pots, and that's it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swap it up to spinach, because the spinach I can dry, and I can dehydrate it and dry can it. It'll store longer, way more nutrients in it. Ontario Homestead. There's my buddy Bill over at Ontario Homestead. If you guys don't know Bill at Ontario Homestead, go check him out. He's a great guy. But Harvey Black in one of my streams the other night No, it was in my $21 prepper throwdown. He gave his list, and part of his list was cat food to bait a rabbit with. And the next item on his list was wire so he could snare that rabbit in my backyard because it's nice and fat.
I have to say, rabbit meat is pretty good.
He got big.
Rabbit is a very lean meat too.
Yes, sir.
There's little to no fat on a rabbit.
It barbecues well.
Yes, it does. Goes well in a gravy too, or stew.
Oh, I'm sure it would. Fricassee.
So as far as us, we have several gardens that we grow herbs and veggies. We have fruit trees,
Tomatoes, peppers, bananas, apples.
we have different styles of
Okra.
gardens too. We have raised beds, we have in-ground, we have vertical gardens. Our vertical gardens, we like to use the cattle panels. Some are in the arch shape and some are just like a fence. And we just like to let things grow up on those. Did I say animals? We've got chickens and rabbits.
And bees.
And bees. We don't eat bees, we eat honey. And we've got the pond that we can fish out of. We've got our one roaming duck. But she's more of a pet unless she starts eating the gardens. Then she'll become stew. And we have an agreement. She knows this.
She'll be after the greens for sure.
Actually, she hasn't.
Really?
I'm surprised. Yeah. I guess she's got the whole pond to roam on. And maybe she understands. Maybe she really does understand not to get in our stuff.
Well, it is one lucky duck.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we have frogs and turtles and fish and all kinds of stuff in the pond.
Lori asked, who has eaten frog? I tried fried frog legs once, and I don't think they were prepared right, and I didn't like them.
I tried frog legs a couple of times, and one time I had them, they were really, really good. They were like the most tasty chicken wings you'd ever had. And then another time I had them, they tasted real fishy.
Yeah, the ones that I tried were very fishy, so much so I didn't like them at all.
Brett, I think that question's for you from Metal for Breakfast, my brother.
Right. We have not tried the straw bale raised beds, but Amy's mom has.
My mom did. She did really well with some things, and other things didn't do so great. Here it kind of depends on how much rain we get, I guess, because I know she had trouble with it one year. They stayed too wet. We had a really, really nasty rainy year, and the hay bales kind of rotted in place, I guess. Oh yeah, I need to take that down. Huh?
Yeah.
Can I jump in here for a minute, guys? Sean in Alaska, he's here in the chat. Sean in Alaska put up a video. It was in come harvest time. He had a weekend off of work, and he went to like a garden center where they grow all their stuff, and they had some raised. They were growing strawberries in stacked up concrete blocks. Mm-hmm. With great success. So, that may be another idea for you guys. There's another channel to check out, Sean in Alaska, if you guys don't know him.
Yeah. The concrete blocks have done well for us, too. We made a whole raised bed out of it. It was sort of a keyhole garden.
Yeah, but he's talking about the stackdums. I'd have to show it to you on Pinterest. It's stacked a certain way.
Or we could go watch Sean's video.
Yeah.
Sean in Alaska.
It's just like a one block width. You just stack them up on top of each other, put dirt down in it, and the strawberries grow right in there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see what we did. We made a perimeter of blocks and then filled the interior with
soil,
fluffy potting soil or topsoil, whatever, and also in the holes like that. So we were able to grow things like green onions. Some people call them shallots or scallions, and the garlic chives, things like that. We can grow in those blocks like that.
Yeah, right inside the block itself.
The strawberries is a good idea too.
Even the basil. I grew like bushes of basil that came out of this little bitty square hole.
Yeah.
Well, it's 10,000 degrees there. Basil loves that.
Yeah.
It's 9,999. Come on, man. Don't exaggerate.
Rosemary does really well in the heat too, if you guys like rosemary.
Yeah, we had one, and
See that?
we decided that we were going to try. We decided that we were going to try and move that rosemary bush, and it didn't move well.
Mm-mm.
We lost it, so we're going to have to start it again. Start another one.
Oh, I'm gonna have to bring mine indoors before it freezes hard. They do well in the cold as well, but I got to bring it inside for the winter, or it'll croak.
Hickory Croft Farms is your cinder blocks. The cinder block beds look really good.
Thank you.
I'm hoping to add in 2 to 3 more before the spring.
That's news to me.
Okay, Mel, it was good to see you in here. If anybody doesn't know my sister, Mallory over at Quebec Homestead, another awesome homesteading channel, and I think it's through Quebec Homestead how I found the Broussards, to be honest with you.
Awesome.
Yeah, another awesome channel.
If you're more southern, strawberries and large rain gutters.
Ah,
They don't overwinter well, though.
makes sense.
See, I'm looking for different ways to do our strawberries because we have them in a traditional raised bed. They did really well last year. So well that a rabbit actually made a nest in my strawberry bed and scared the daylights out of me because I found her baby. Yeah. I had 3 little baby rabbits jumping around in the strawberry bed.
We just kind of let
funny
it
you
do.
mentioned that.
It didn't really hurt anything. We had enough strawberries to share.
Right.
That's funny you mentioned that, Amy, because that young little bunny rabbit, man, he was small. He was only about this big when he first scared the crap out of me. And I think we scared the crap out of each other. He went that way, and I went that way. And then
That's exactly what happened with me.
Yeah, next time he was in the garden, he happened to be in the garden hiding behind the yellow beans, obviously. He's eating the backside of them. And I happened to see him in behind one of the things when I went out back there. And I was like, so I moved slowly. I didn't want to scare the guy, right? But we, after a little bit of a while, we kind of made friends. And he would be out there just sitting there doing his thing, eating his stuff. We had a talk one day. We came to an agreement. I said, okay, you can have what you need, but please leave me some. Don't take it all.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of hung out. I was out there doing my gardening, and the little rabbit would be out there, and eventually he got huge.
Oh yeah, they get really
It was
big.
a pretty cool experience, though.
They eat your plant, and then they get big enough, and you eat them.
Yeah, I'm not snaring.
For the most part, I like to say, I'm sorry, Sean?
I'm not snaring a rabbit here in town.
Oh, right. For the most part, I like to try to live by the mantra of only manipulate nature as much as necessary and try to live with it. Except for fire ants. They can go to hell.
The fire ants. Well, it's so hot down there. Fire ants got nowhere else to live but there.
Oh man, I hate those things. They
What do
just
you do for them?
raised beds and everything. I left my truck parked in one spot without moving it for about 2 weeks, and I had a fire ant mound up the tire.
What do you do for them?
Unfortunately,
Really hot boiling water works great.
that's one of the few things where we still use chemicals quite a bit, is to try to rid the fire ants.
Would diatomaceous earth work on a fire ant?
It helps.
It helps, but the problem with a fire ant mound is it can actually go 3 to 6 feet down in the dirt, down into the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
And the queen is down there. So when you kill just the top of it, all they do is move about a foot or so over.
They move their doorway.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then what's really bad is when we get flooding, the ants cling together and they float on top of the floodwaters. And if you're walking through floodwaters and you don't see them, they're on you before you know it.
Yep.
Like an entire ant colony in your boot.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they are
That's crazy.
vicious boogers.
Gas in a match. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
We actually have one of those flamethrower. What is it called?
It's a propane torch.
Okay, that thing. It works really great on fire ant hills. At least it's fun to watch them squirm.
Well, listen, we're at 15 minutes left in the stream here, Sean, and we've got one more topic that we haven't covered yet.
Oh, what's that, Brett?
The difference between a single person prepping and a family prepping. So we are the family and you are the single person. So, and things are different, obviously. You don't have to, you don't have to pack away as much as we do in order to feed yourself for the same amount of time.
Well, of course. Like, I mean, the more mouths you have to feed, obviously, the more you're going to have to put back or buy weekly or to purchase monthly, to feed those mouths, right? However, with more bodies, there's strength in numbers, right? Many hands make light work.
Right.
So that is a thing.
I was going to say that too. Where we have a team to work on a project, Sean has to do it by himself.
Right.
I'm the team. I have to do all of it, including 40 hours at least a week of work job, right? So like I'd say there's pluses and minuses to both. Now, I don't know what your guys' level of sort of food storage or preparedness is, and I'm not going to ask because it's none of my business. However, I do know what mine is. What I will say people should do, whether they're family or a single, stack it to the rafters, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're a family or whether you're preparing as a single person. Now, preparing as a single person. Okay, let's get into that a little wee bit. The advantages. Okay, I don't like canned peas, but if my wife did, I'd have to put back canned peas.
Right.
I don't want any canned peas in my PREPS. So you don't have to compromise. You prep what you want, and that's it.
That's
without
true.
having to accommodate another's palate or whichever.
That's a good point.
So that's one advantage. Now, another advantage from the prepper aspect, as prepping as a single, there's lots of people out there, there's lots of preppers out there who are married where their spouse is not on board with their prepping. They think like, well, you're crazy for buying all that food and whatever else, right?
Yeah.
So
Drops had a good point. I don't know if you saw that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Drops Family Garden said, I guarantee you if Seattle had a huge quake, I'd be seeing both my sisters and their families here in the Spokane area. Prep for other family members that just don't get it. That is true. That is a very good point.
And he said it before too. Prep for somebody that's going to just show up at your doorstep, because people, friends, neighbors that know that you have stockpiled food of any sorts, when they're out, you're going to be the first place they go to. That's
something that we talked with Sean about last night off air. If somebody does come to our door asking for some food or what have you, they better either have something to trade or be ready to work.
Well, if they plan to come and take it, you need a porch clearing device.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Porch clearing stick. But that's something you can put into your stuff that you put back. You can put in barter items.
Right.
If someone's coming around looking for, you guys saw my video. I got 300 pounds of sugar in the cupboard, right, in the dresser. If somebody comes around wanting to swap for a cup of sugar, hey, bring me a couple eggs. Good trade.
Yeah. Yeah. See, some sort of prepping has always been part of my life living on the Gulf Coast, you know, because hurricanes are such a threat to us here. And to be honest with you, we had gotten kind of too relaxed because before this year, it had been 15 years before we had a serious hurricane that affected our area. And nature
That'll make
sure
you let your
reminded
guard
us.
down. Yeah, that'll make you let your guard down for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
But
we've
yeah,
always
as far
prepped a
as-
little bit here and there, but we weren't quite as ready as we thought we were for a Category 4 storm that came through here either.
Well, we did happen to discuss that immediately after, you know, the storms had come through, like the next day and such. And, you know, it made you guys take a look at your level of preparedness and your preps as well, right? Like you were pressure canning chicken the night before that. The day after that, Prep was admitting, I've just found a big hole in my preps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So that's something we should all do is look to the holes in our preps, which is one of my goals this winter. Have a look at your preps.
Mm-hmm.
Have a look at what you got put back. Find out what the holes are. Start patching those up slowly, little by little.
I think the best way to find out what you're missing in your preps is to live it. Turn your power off and live an entire weekend with no power. That's where we figured out, hey, this is where we're short here and we're short there. You know, we need to stock a little bit more this way than this way.
Right. And, you know, the thing to keep in mind, to turn off your power doesn't mean you have to go without power. If you have alternative sources of power, like for us, we have a generator. We didn't immediately after the storm. We've got the solar block. You know, we can still have power without having grid power.
Right.
And that's where you can strengthen, you know, you can strengthen your preps, because when something happens, when the stuff hits the fan or whatever it is, you don't want to just survive. You don't want to spend all of your energy just surviving. You want to thrive.
Shut your power off 5 p.m. Friday. You'll find voids fast.
Yep.
And he said, I was typing that as we were saying it.
You know what, Brett and Amy, you both just made a very, very good point there, which is a direction I'm headed into as well, to expand my my preps. And it's kind of related to this ham radio that I bought. You know, I plan to do some type of, once I get the freaking thing powered up to begin with, I plan to do some like solar backup or battery banks or solar generator or something like that in order to further augment my level of preparedness, right? Just yet another direction I want to go that's related to where I am going.
Yeah, Naked Gardener says hurricanes are Louisiana's longest never-ending story, like tornadoes are for us in Tornado Alley. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, after Hurricane Laura, we were out of power for 11 or 12 days. And then 6 weeks later, for Hurricane Delta, we were out for another few days.
Yeah, when the power did come back on, it was on and off for another week. Yeah, power surges were a big issue.
Well, the thing of it is, when we turned our power back on, or when our power was turned back on, we started running everything like we normally would, and then later we found out that it was temporary power. They had giant generators at the electrical substations that they were running these areas off of, and that is horrible for a central unit. And we didn't know.
Hey, Brett, can I just say a word to my subscribers that are in here that might not be subscribers of yours?
Please.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Guys that are in the chat that are subscribers of mine, if you don't happen to be subscribed to Broussard Homestead, go check them out. Check out their videos. They're super helpful and useful. Maybe consider giving them a subscribe if you like their content. But what I wanted to share with you guys, if you don't know Broussard Homestead, Brett there, he is a fireman in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So he saw a ton of the worst this year. Okay. So Yeah, he's the experience. He's talking from experience here of what went down this year. Those guys got slammed. Go take
That's
a
right.
go
And
onto Google Maps, a satellite image of Lake Charles, and you'll still see a sea of blue roofs. That's just blue tarps covering people's roofs that haven't got repaired yet.
that was updated about 2 or 3 weeks after the storm. About mid-September, it was updated, and so when you look at that, that's what you're seeing is mid-September of this year. I wanted to mention too. You made me think about it, Sean. As a fireman, with they had to entirely rebuild the electric grid in Lake Charles. It was just that devastated, and as they did, when they started turning the power back on to areas of town, if there was damage that they didn't see, there were several house fires due to when they turned the power back on due to damaged wires and such. And fortunately, I don't believe anyone was injured or killed in those house fires. But that creates a lot of work for the firemen.
Well, not only the power outages, but a lot of the Lake Charles area, almost all of Lake Charles was out of water for several weeks.
Yes, it affected the water supply.
Yep.
Because there were so many broken water lines.
Well, not only that, but it affected the water filtration system for the city.
Mm-hmm.
They are still rebuilding it. They're on portable water filtration still to this day.
Yeah.
Food and water, guys. Now, Brett, I just wanted to take a minute. As a former military service person, a lot of people thank me for my service, and I'm not sure how many people thank you as a fireman for your service. So I just wanted to extend that to you because, man, you guys got no idea what firemen go through.
I appreciate that recognition. Thank you for that, Sean.
So
it's always good to have support. It's raining. I'm sorry, I got distracted by the sound of rain. No, we've only got a couple minutes here left, guys. Sean, where are we going next? What live stream are we going to hit next?
Oh, pinball preparedness. Okay, can I do a quick plug here?
Yep.
Okay, so on some of the preparedness channels, there's Prepper Nation, and he does Shogun Saturday nights at 9. Pinball preparedness goes on after, and I'm the cleanup crew after that, and it usually runs very late into the night. Last weekend, I got onto the first one at Pinball Nation, Prepper Nation. I dropped a $20 bill in the super chat, and I made a throwdown. And Prepper Nation raised over $1,500 for food banks and charity. Over at Pinballs after, he raised another $600 for food for veterans. Then on my chat later, we raised almost $300. So yeah, Pinball Preparedness runs his live streams Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know the guy, go check him out, guys. That's where I'm headed.
Real quick before we end, I want to let everybody know that just a few days ago, actually, I challenged Sean that and Sean accepted the challenge. We're racing to 3,000 subscribers. Both.
That's funny, Drops.
Now we've got a head start on Sean because we're closer to 3,000. So I want you guys, if you're not subscribed to Sean already, please go and give him some love because we want Sean to win.
See, that's funny because I've been pumping Brett's channel too because I want him to win. Right?
So introduce your guest.
Oh, this is Sean at North Shore Preparedness.
Drops was just being funny.
Okay.
Drops and I know each other very well. We see each other all the time over in Mallory.
He made a really good point because there may be somebody in the chat at this moment that doesn't know who you are.
This is very, very true. Hi, Drops. It's good to see you here. And hello to anyone I didn't say hello to. Sorry, I was more busy paying attention to Brett and Amy Broussard here and their lovely invitation to have a live chat with them. I appreciate you both.
Sorry. I just got the notification that Pinball is live. So in the spirit of punctuality, we're going to go ahead and say goodnight, folks. Thank you all for being here. And we're more than happy to introduce you to Sean if you didn't already know him. So stay prepared. Stay prepared. Stay prayed up. Keep your head on a swivel. Good night, everybody.
Get your preps on, guys. Back to the rafters. Pinball next.